dark dragon's husk remained, and from this husk fell an endless downpour of cursed rain.
Chances you might have missed on this beautiful beast. Team Ninja and Platinum Games have announced Ninja Gaiden 4 with a release window of late or the final quarter of 2025. In fact, Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming 12 years after Ninja Gaiden 3, and it's one of the triple A's of 2025 already. Aside from the action, the protagonist is different, and he seems to be on a mission that will bring him into a direct collision with Ryu, who was also playable throughout the game. Here's a trailer. As an extra treat, Team Ninja also has dropped a surprise remaster of Ninja Gaiden 2, which we're going to talk about later.
You're open!
Build a land of peace on the backs of 1,000 dead.
You'll have to kill them all.
Assassin's Creed Shadows is shaping up to be a massive hit. Ubisoft reported that pre-order sales are keeping pace with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was one of the franchise's biggest successes, and given that Odyssey had a record-breaking launch, only surpassed by Valhalla, this is a strong sign that many fans are hyped for Shadows' feudal Japan setting and possibly much more. If Shadows continues this momentum right here, it might be the franchise's next big hit. The dual protagonists, the deep stealth mechanics, and open world samurai action, I think it's pretty easy to see why fans are lining up for pre-orders. This game's coming out in about a week.
Fight for what is right. For the freedom to seek justice.
Together, we will be unstoppable.
This has been over 20 years now, but Onimusha is finally back. Capcom is bringing one of the most iconic action RPGs ever made from the PlayStation 2 era back into the spotlight with much more. See, Onimusha with a Sword has fans of the original series on edge, like myself, and for good reason, because developers promise a return to form, staying true to the game's roots while adapting to modern sensibilities. It's a pretty bold decision that has fans both excited and nervous, but if the trailer here is anything to go by, Capcom is definitely playing this comeback for all it's worth.
Swordplay is a game of strength. Winning is what matters. And you can bring as many friends as you want. Not good.
If Sekiro and Devil May Cry had a dark, stylish baby, it'd have been Phantom Blade Zero. This action RPG throws you into a brutal steampunk-infused world inspired by the Chinese hoo-ha. You play as a soul, this elite assassin that's betrayed and left for dead, only to be revived with about 66 days to live and a whole lot of revenge to take. The combat is the star here. Light and fast swordplay, cinematic combos, and boss fights that look straight out of a martial arts classic film. A stunning, gritty world and some deep lore, all setting to make this Phantom Blade Zero a stylish gem. The only problem with the game right now is that it's coming out in 2026 and by the end of it.
Have
you ever wondered what an 80s B-movie fever dream would look like if it was a video game? Showa American Story is exactly that. An over-the-top action RPG set in an alternative history, America where Japan has taken over. Zombies roam around the streets and just basically chaos reigns. You play as Choko, this teenage girl resurrected from the dead, slashing through hordes of monsters with some brutal melee combat and some crazy weapons. Think Yakuza meets Grindhouse with tons of campy charm, stylish action and a wild open world full of wacky side activities. Showa American Story looks like a cult classic, poised to make some undead mayhem in 2025. At the Game Awards last year, known developers of the Yakuza and Like a Dragon series announced something called Project Sentry, which is this action game set in 1915 Japan with an alternative history twist. The trailer teases a pretty gritty, gory experience featuring a mysterious protagonist navigating some dark, violent streets, although not exactly a samurai game, but definitely Japanese. The details are pretty scarce. Lots of are excited by the studio's signature intense combat and storytelling. When Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza out, Project Sentry promises to be another ambitious addition to their lineup.
Last time I defeated you, remember? Do you really think this time the result will be different?
Burn and Sword Death Sun is set to launch in 2025 as well for PC, and it promises to be a blend of ancient martial arts and hack and slash gameplay. You'll step into the shoes of a master swordman seeking revenge against this tyrant. With influences from Souls-like games, it actually features intense combat, some seamless martial arts, and a lot of challenging duels with other martial experts. You can expect an immersive world filled with some fluid swordplay and a deep strategy combat. This is basically how the game looks.
Your emotions have put all of us at risk. I can't let you ruin my plan. My training is brutal as hell.
If you loved Ghosts of Tsushima, Ghosts of Yotei is bringing that same samurai action to the stunning landscapes of Hokkaido in the year 1603. This new adventure follows a fierce new warrior that's stepping into the role of the Ghost as Japan enters a new era. With a bigger world, the brutal combat and even firearms making their way into the battle, Ghosts of Yotei pushes the series forward while keeping that signature samurai feel alive. And since it is built from the ground up for the PlayStation 4, you can expect some next level visuals and the most immersive gameplay possibly yet. Sucker Punch is coming back, and this one really can't come any sooner. Wuchang Fallen Feathers isn't out yet, but it's already got a lot of people hyped, such as myself. This action RPG is set in a fantasy version of 17th century China during the Ming Dynasty, blending real history with a dark, mystical twist. In fact, this game is a Souls-like at heart, but everything from dual swords to magic clubs, flamethrowers are also at the table. It's pretty packed with boss fights and atmospheric exploration, all while looking pretty gorgeous as well. If you're into games like Sekiro and Nia, this one's probably already on your radar for 2025.
For whom are you working? I won't forgive you. Prepare yourself!
With that being said, Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny Remaster was just announced for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch and PC. Capcom has announced a remastered version and even released a brief little trailer here alongside a release window of mid to late 2025 for the game, including a Nintendo Switch release. If you were a fan of the series, you already know that the first game, Onimusha Warlords, got a PC remaster about 5 years ago, and it was met with quite well reviews upon release. That being said, Onimusha 2 Remastered might just be one of the greatest hits of 2025. Personally, this is my favorite Onimusha game of all time. If you're into open role martial arts action, Where Winds Meet is definitely one to watch. It's available already on mobiles, and this game is coming to consoles later on in the year. It's also set in ancient China during the chaotic end of the Ten Kingdoms era, and you step into the shoes of a wandering swordman that's shaping his own destiny. There's a mix of swordplay, parkour style movement, and some supernatural abilities, so combat feels fast and fluid, like Ghost of Tsushima meets Wuha films. Plus, you can choose your own path, as a warrior, doctor, merchant, or even a philosopher. Do make sure to keep this one's console release on your radar for 2025. If you loved Ninja Gaiden, the same team behind Blasphemous is bringing back the brutal combat with a fresh pixel art style that really pops in a new game called Ragebound. In fact, the new entry here after God knows how many years is set during the NES Ninja Gaiden events. You'll take control of a new hero on a mission to save the village. The combat is pretty intense as ever, as you can see, and with that familiar vibe, it'll definitely feel like home for fans of the old school action. Plus, it's coming to PC, Switch and other consoles somewhere in the summer of 2025. This one's definitely got my own attention.
More than a weapon, it is the soul of a shinobi.
And last but not least, we've got Shinobi Art of Vengeance set to release on August 29 this year, bringing back the classic ninja action we all love. It's also developed by the team behind Streets of Rage 4 and offers a fresh 2D action platformer experience with a unique hand-drawn art style, pretty much like the Streets of Rage 4. You'll step into the shoes of a master of the ninja arts on a quest for vengeance after his village is destroyed and his clan turned to stone. This game features over a dozen stages, the combat seems pretty dynamic, and you can even enhance your abilities. It's a classic that stays true to its roots, while offering a modern twist, possibly much more.